Servus and welcome to the World of Marketing Jobs podcast, where I'm taking you on a marketing journey of job awareness, consideration, and application. In this episode, we will learn about a very interesting job, the job of a digital marketing assistant. And for that, we have Darija here with us today. Hi, Darija.
Hello, it's a pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine. So I think the best thing is that we jump right into it with some this or that questions, where I give you two options and you choose the one that fits your job better.
Okay, let's get into it.
Great. So, B2B or B2C?
The company that I work at is actually a mix of both, mainly focusing on B2B, but also it spans on B2C. And it's more my field where I'm focusing on is B2C because the salespeople focus on the B2B where I work at.
Interesting. So, are you then a SME or a large corporation?
We are a SMI. We're a startup that was founded in 2020, and we have about 50 employees in the company at the moment.
So, would you say that you're more local or international?
We are definitely international. We have offices in Paris, Luxembourg, UK, and Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. Important.
Very much so. So, are you more agency or in house then?
In-house.
And would you consider yourself a full stack marketer or a specialist?
Definitely a full stack marketer. Everyone who applies for startups should be a full stack marketer, in my opinion.
So, do you have a small or a big team?
Currently, the team is really small. Before it was bigger, now it's smaller.
And would you say your work is more structured or flexible?
It's definitely flexible.
Interesting. So, now we know a little bit where your job is located. So, how would you formulate a job slogan then?
Well, for my job slogan, I could say that fluency of marketing from metrics to media of all channels.
Very interesting. So, what do you do then? What jobs does your work involve?
Well, my job in particular is a really broad digital marketing scope, has a broad digital marketing scope, but it's best to start from the beginning. When I just joined the company, I joined it as an intern. And my first position in this enterprise was a junior marketing analyst, which basically involved analyzing data. My responsibilities were monitoring monthly performance reportings, analyzing competitor analysis, learning about the art market, what are the trends, giving recommendations, giving KPIs that they could follow on the future campaigns, and how to behave and what kind of social medias to open. As at the beginning when I entered, it was really small. I basically was responsible for giving them insights about how to act in the coming months if they want to grow. And then I continued working there as an alternate, but I changed my position into digital marketing assistant because the scope had expanded. From only analyzing and monitoring performance, I started also integrating my daily activities in social media activities. So I was responsible for creating content, generating ideas for it, creating it, posting it, becoming the social media community manager, and monitoring everything what's happening in the comments. As I already gained the knowledge about key metric performance reporting, I also did that for now for social media accounts. Um, but that wasn't enough. In my opinion, social media is really fun, but I liked more challenge. I really wanted to learn more about what can marketing give and what I can do. So I actually expanded it further to start giving assistance in events. As in my past, I was really passionate about events, and with this enterprise, I had really good access to this knowledge. What I basically did I start from little steps. They gave me access to manage their contact lists through platforms such as MailChimp, which is an email campaign management tool. And through it, I was monitoring the audience, sending recipes, invitations, information, responding to customer questions, providing them information. So it was really like management back at the computer. And later on, it expanded to more responsibilities such as assisting in events, assisting in planifying what placements to choose, what suppliers to choose, and so on. So I started getting myself involved with more management rather than just fixing the things that nobody really truly likes. But I really enjoyed it, no matter what, from the bottom to the end. And then I also worked with website development, which is a really, really interesting challenge that I had to overcome because I had no information, no knowledge about UX design components. And with this experience, I had to develop an entirely new website wireframe. Of course, I had my team that was supporting me with their knowledge, with their expertise. I had my management who was also giving us constant feedbacks of what they want and improve, which definitely gave us a helping hand in the process. But creating the wireframes, creating the designs, the theme, the color schemes, the user experience on the website, how to navigate, the navigation panels, all of it included the content writing. It was a truly interesting experience that up to this day we still have to manage and maintain and keep on improving because today's audience generations are changing and the websites need to adapt to the environment, to the market, to the audience. So it's an ongoing basis of development. And yeah, uh, lastly, I could say that one of my last positions that I recently gained access to is press releases. I personally am not too fond to it. It's a very corporate and very professional sphere that requires really high due diligence skills, but it's nevertheless really interesting to recognize the power what press release can do to make your enterprise more known, more visible in the market. And when you can see media outlets resharing your news, it's really inspiring and makes you understand that whatever you're doing, it has a purpose.
Super interesting. So I really see the full stack marketer coming here through, and it shows really like the diversity of the tasks you're doing, which are really fascinating to learn from.
Indeed,
So
my objective with all this experience that I'm gaining is to not stay in digital marketing assistant position, but now start growing to the management sphere because now I feel like I have hands-on experience on these areas.
I could definitely see that. So what tools are you using on a daily basis to help you really deliver all those tasks that your job as a digital marketing assistant involves?
First of all, the very first platform that I had to encounter was Semrush, and I hands-on recommend it to everyone who's just starting on marketing. It is a tool that helps to analyze competitor website performance, also your own. It helps to improve SEO for your website. And just create hands-on analytics on websites and competitor analysis. So the nice thing about SEMrush is that it has the ability to download reports straight away. You can personalize them, and also everything you can do it on your own. You don't need any manager or anyone supervising you because the platform has the educational tool, video material, articles, how to do list, FAQs, even virtual assistants if you need and you cannot find a solution. There's always support, which is really, really nice. Second, then moving on to emails, as I mentioned it earlier, there is MailChimp. It is a really good email management tool that centralizes communication for your email campaigns, through which you can send out campaigns, information, invitations for anything. You can create surveys, forms, tag your audience to segment everyone there. And if someone, for example, unsubscribes, everything is just happening automatically, so you don't have to manually check the list like old times on Excel. Horrible. Excel with this is very bad. Um, then we have more recently a more accurate platform, which is forgot its name. Matomo. Voilà, it's Matomo. Matomo is a website backend platform that helps to analyze traffic of a website. So it's a really affordable tool, but it's very precise in in its information and it's GDPR compliant. So no information of your audience's visits leak in the on Google or anywhere else. So it's really secure, and we're using it currently for our website to track the website traffic, basically. Then we have Sprout. Sprout is social media organizational tool that helps you to planify on a calendar all your communications through all the social media platforms such as LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. You can planify everything, schedule them, even create them in one platform and have them distributed across three different social media networks. So it's really convenient and easy to planify. Also has the analytics integrated there, so you can overview everything really well. Highly recommend. And lastly, but not least, we have Splash. We don't currently use it, but we were doing it for a whole year, which is basically an event management tool. What it does is solely targets the event sector. So we were making a lot of events in 2023, and during that year, we decided to integrate this platform, which basically helps to organize events, create web pages for invitations or informations like webinars or real live events. You can count your guests when they're at the event through the platform, through a QR code, RSVP forms. So it was really 24, 360 degrees centralized management tool that was really good for events. But as in the next year, we did not have as much events, we just did not proceed continuing with it.
Super interesting. I think with tools, it's always good when you have them in hand, especially when your job is fragmented and you're like, oh, what are actually little tools that can help me to make my life a little bit easier? So we heard now that you have a lot of different jobs. Would you say that there is an area in marketing that you would consider that it's not your job?
For my situation, I consider this question irrelevant just because in my company you have to be able to adapt, you need to be able to be flexible. And as far as I have worked with this company, I never faced a situation where I would be given a task that completely is outside of my sphere. There was one time when I was introduced to project management, but I do find that is still very relevant, needed in marketing as well. So that was the only time when I felt like I'm expanding my skills beyond marketing, but I did not find it to be a challenge or not needed. I found it very useful.
Very interesting. So if I were to apply for your job, what would like the ideal job persona look like?
Well, a perfect job persona for this position and for this company, you have to be a really open person in the team. You like to talk, you're very strong and confident in your arguments. You know what you got, basically. You don't talk without a backup, meaning you have data to support your arguments. You want to help the team, so if there's a problem, you'll always be willing to jump in and help. And yeah, I think that's perfect job persona for a startup because it is not as structured as big organizations. So people really need to understand that you are here together trying to make something work. So you have to really think outside of the box and not wait for tasks to be given at you, but volunteer to try to solve something extra, something more that you know will help everyone.
Very clear. So you need to be very also interested in different areas. Don't shy back to maybe propose new ideas or rethink the wheel or see where you can optimize existing processes, etc. Right?
Very, very well defined. Yes.
So I think we can now summarize it a little bit further. For that, I have my little job value proposition on hand. So it's like a little fill in the gaps exercise. So we have like a little jumping back and forth with uh yeah, the proposition. Are you ready for that?
Yes, I am ready. So, a digital marketing assistant helps
Helps.
colleagues and teams who want to launch, monitor, optimize digital campaigns by reducing manual workload and inefficiencies and enabling faster data-driven marketing execution.
Very clear. I think now we have like the essence of the job in a very concise and yet precise sentence, which I think is really useful when you want to like really pin it down to one statement.
Thank you.
So I think what also is part of our jobs nowadays, especially with the rise of AI, with the rise of automations, with the rise of different tools that can help us, I think are also future skills. So the golden nuggets where we would say like, okay, I'm doing my job very well now today, but what would you say are the skills that are relevant so you can do your job as well in the future?
Um, for this, I would say that it's really, really important to stay updated with what's happening in the market. In these situations, we are combining the art market and the finance market, which combined together becomes a niche market, meaning that it's a very specific sphere. And there are some reports, for example, such as UBS or Deloitte art market reports that are really useful for anyone who's interested in entering into this niche market to stay updated. Every year they release new reports discussing the situation in this market. What is the status with the auction houses, with the NFTs, for example, with all basically trends. So people who read these reports are definitely 10 steps ahead for anyone in the competition if they're applying for a position in such a company. So that would be my recommendation. Besides that, follow trends, for example, such as in the auction market. If you're interested in investment, of course, the global economy and the market trends are very consistently related to how your audience is going to invest. So you need to be up to date to know how to communicate with your audience, provide them solutions to their frustrations, and be relevant, not just selling an idea, but everything needs to be grounded.
Yeah, I think that's really key to, especially when you're in such a changing environment where tomorrow something else could be relevant. I think it's key to stay on track on those trends, on those developments.
Yes, and I think an additional really important point is AI. I think we're all agreeing on this point that the AI is the future. And if you have a good knowledge or a solid foundation of how to use this tool and how to utilize it in a secure, regulated manner to improve productivity, it is definitely gonna make you outstand the rest of the market.
And how does this specifically look like for you? How do you use AI on a daily basis?
As for me, it's basically, for example, generating ideas, asking AI to give me a brief overview of what's happening in the art market every day before I start my work, meaning that I want to just make sure that I'm not missing anything important. And doing that helps me to be informed and well aware of what is happening around the world or in the news. Um, Organizing my tasks by priority level would be, I would say, would be another option. Yeah, I think that's it. I would like
Thank
to
you.
expand it further, to be honest, but for now, I think I'm going there, but step by step.
Step by step is always a good approach to master, I think, workload in general, to see where it can help you, and also to see, okay, when you are using it, to see, okay, what could be next steps following that to make my life even easier.
I agree.
And now we are already reaching almost the end. And I would like to start a little tradition in my podcast where I ask the previous guest for a question for the next guest. In your case, this was by Tess. She is an internal external communication officer. And that's the question she had for you. What was the moment you truly felt comfortable in doing your job? Specifically with imposter syndrome, what was the moment you arrived?
Mm, that is a very good question. And I personally know Tess, and it really feels like her.
Agreed.
Well, to think through this question, the first thought that came to my mind when I was listening was the moment when I was brought into a meeting where I was supposed to propose a new wireframe, a new proposal for our website. Because when I just entered, the website had a very innovative approach, but it was very confusing. It was basically just a simple page where you had some stars displayed around and you had to click on them if you want to navigate. So it was very user not user friendly. And I came in and I had to basically solve the problem to make the navigation more better. And I remember I was still my second year in the company. No, not second year. It was my first year in the company. And I still didn't have the confidence that, oh, I know things. It's my first time proposing a new innovative UX design, website design. And I remember I was getting along really well with my manager, and he had the confidence that I can do it. And he just asked me on a very fast manner to join a meeting with the executives of the company, me, an intern, joining an executive meeting. At that moment, I didn't know what to do. And I just said, of course, sure, I can present it. And the CEO was there waiting for me to present. And as I continued explaining, he challenged me with questions about, will the user really need that? Is this information really relevant? Which shouldn't we change that to this? Is this really good or useful? Maybe we should focus on something else. And with every single question he had, I was standing there and giving him feedback, giving him answers confidently, with believing in myself, knowing what I'm talking about, with arguments. And then I understood that I got this. I know what I'm doing. And after that meeting, I remember my manager just told me, "Congratulations, Daria. You just proved yourself in the company and you gained everyone's respect." And I remember that day, I just closed the laptop and I was screaming of happiness, how excited I was that I actually can do it. And from that moment on, I was just so confident. I was so much more relaxed compared to before, knowing that whatever I'm doing, I got this. I need to just believe in myself because maybe I needed that on the spot exposure to the higher ups to be able to understand that.
Well, that's so impressive. I feel like me personally, I didn't have that realization early on. For me, I think now I'm almost 2 years on my current job position. For me, now is the moment where it starts to click in because I'm writing my master thesis about SEO. And so just last week, I explained my manager without prior preparation and just answered a question he had on the go. And that I think would be for me the moment where I realized that I got this and I'm value to the company. And I think that was the moment when I punched the imposter like in the face and said like, no, I got this. And that made me really proud. So I'm so impressed that you already had this experience in your first year at your company.
Thank you. I really love your journey too, because you have to start at one point to feel comfortable in the area you are in, because this is something you're gonna spend your rest of your life doing. So when else, if not now?
Mm. And I think that's also a little bit my intention behind the podcast I'm doing because marketing it's so wide. When just we two talk to each other, or when I uh, compare your insights with the one of Tess, for example, they're so different. And I think especially when you're either just coming freshly from bachelor's or master's, or if you want to do a career change, it's so hard to know what marketing is all about, where your journey could lead you. And that's why I think it's so key to have some sort of inside perspective about the jobs, to really know, okay, is this something for me, or maybe another job would be a better fit.
I agree. And to add to that point, it is really hard. It was even hard for me at the very beginning to tell the difference of what's the difference between a startup and a big corporation. Like, aren't they functioning the same way? I remember when I was a bachelor entering job market, I couldn't really tell the difference. But while I talk with my peers, my friends from my master's degree, I realized that corporation size matters in terms of how organized it is. Startups tend to be more personal, they are more humane, they don't have very much structure, so you have to depend or communicate with different departments. You're connected. While in bigger organizations, everything is more wired, there's more procedures, there's more structures. You have to be like in an army, you know? So also to add to that point, the areas you're choosing, if you're gonna choose investment or you're gonna choose, I don't know, communicate, just media, for example, or you're gonna choose medicine, all of those spheres marketing can integrate itself in, but they need a specific backup. So you need to be passionate about whatever you're gonna do, whatever areas you're interested in, either it's luxury or it's cosmetics, but just know very well what you're involving yourself into, because with that passion, you will actually be able to add more value to your marketing communications and connect better with your audience.
Definitely. So I thinking finding that passion, and once you found it, I think you're really unstoppable.
Indeed.
So would you also have a question for my next guest without knowing who it will be?
Of course, I came prepared, but my question by all means is not as complex as the one Tess created. It's more generic and more broad. And I really want to find out from our next speaker, why did you choose marketing as your career path?
That's super interesting. Now I can't wait to hear the answer and discover it together with
Me
you.
too. Me too.
So thank you so much for your time and energy today. It was really interesting to peek a little bit behind the curtain and see what your job is all about.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was such a pleasure and such an honor to be part of this series of your podcasts, and I am very honored to be part of it as well.
Thank you. And all to those listeners, see you in the next episode. Pussy. Bye bye.
Bye bye.